Hello there, guys. Well, it's 20 past 1 on the 29th of May. I don't actually know how many days are in May. Is there 30, 31? I don't know. It's been a very, 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 very weird May for me, to be honest. It's, that's 40, 41 Mays that I've had in a lifetime, and going back over all the Mays that I've ever had is a bit strange, actually, because May has usually always been a really good summertime, and obviously we don't really get consistent summers this morning. So anyway, I'm just here for, I've had my fag, actually. I don't like smoking online, so and I'm actually out. I don't really smoke. I've just nicked some of Liam's, and I really, 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 really need to give up smoking altogether. It drives me nuts, but I have a coffee. It says, do more of what makes you happy. And I find that really, 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 really difficult, because every time I do something that makes me happy, it brings me into dissonance over the life that I don't have with my children and the life that I have, and this becomes a bit of a problem. So anyway, guys, the reason that I'm here, I'm just waffling because there are still people around at 1 o'clock in the morning, is I've had a meeting today with the guy who is the main protesting liaison officer for the police. As you know, on my live the other day, I wasn't so-called expecting the knock on the door that I got. In fact, I'd been completely thrown because Shiloh had literally woken up at like 5 o'clock that morning with an absolute raging temperature, and we had literally just, lay cuddling in bed, and I'd pretty much just sort of like gone into the kitchen to make, some bits for Elijah, and there was a bang on the door. It was quite a pleasant knock initially, and I literally sort of went to the peephole and I panicked because it was the police outside, and I sort of, in one mind, I was thinking, this is to do with the protest, and I was expecting that. But because I've got the situation going on with Dean, and because I get like people just making allegations left, right, and centre to social services at different times, depending if I've just come back from a meeting or if I've just done something, I didn't know why they were here, and I literally froze. And then it was like, you go into the normal processes when you deal with these people, don't you? You go, shit, I'm in the middle of the line, and shit, the kids have not got everything on, because obviously I've got Elijah who's posse training, and because I haven't got a garden to just throw him out in, I just let him run around in, either a tracky bottoms or without anything on, because there's nobody in the house. So of course, if my kids are not dressed properly and someone knocks at the door, I'm really funny about my kids coming around the door or trying to run out into the hallway. And I just wasn't prepared to be in that situation. So I was a little bit narky. I was a little bit on the back foot. And I did also talk to them through the door first to say that I was trying to ring my son to let him know that the police were at the door, and I was trying to sort of message Amber to just sort of say police are at the door, and I didn't really have time because I needed to answer the door. So I literally just sort of like tried to press live on my phone, or tried to have somebody on the phone as a witness to them being at the door. And then I sort of like was standing behind the door, sort of asking them what were their intentions of coming to the door. And I just said, look, on the other side of the door, you have a vulnerable mum who's been assaulted by the police and had children taken, and my relationship with you guys is not good. So the female officer then told me that she wasn't here to do any matter to my children, and said, like, could answer the door, could talk through the door. And I said, only if I and film you. And they said that's fine. So I did actually open the door, and I panicked again because I put the first video on and then all of a sudden it cut out, and I've sort of got 2 police officers at the front door and I'm on my own, and yes, I feel intimidated, yes, I feel threatened, yes, I feel invaded, yes, I feel violated, and yes, I feel powerless and in a vulnerable situation. Of course I do. You know, they're heavy people, they're trained to in all forms of advanced training, and if they want to manhandle you in any way, shape or form, they can do. So of course, as a woman who's on my own, especially in a home where I don't have escape and evasion situation at all, I'm trapped. Like literally, it's my front door or my window, which is 2 floors up in a 17th story building. So there's no way for me to escape from any of these situations. I feel vulnerable without a car. I feel vulnerable without the finances to sort of go, look, shit, you know, the shit's hit the fan, the ferry, I've got to go. And I feel vulnerable in terms of like Shiloh not having his passport. Me and Elijah have got ours, and I keep them on me all the time. Like literally, my passports stay with me all the time. My driving license stays with me all the time. My ID stays with me all the time. And I know this probably sounds probably a little bit paranoid to a lot of people, but I keep a safety bag on my front door as well, because it's my swimming bag, but it's also a swimming bag that has, you know, emergency stuff just in case I ever feel that I need to leave the house. So for those who are just coming in, because there is still people who are here up at this night, I'm overthinking this event, and I'm really annoyed because it's so damn fucking easy for me to do this. It's just that I don't have the equipment to do it. And I've got this whole thing that's going on in my head that I could do and I could create. And I have this image in my head of having a headset on in the children's park and strategically having a few speakers around this area that are with individuals, it maybe say in a bag or something like that, and literally as this event is coming to a close, I have this thing that is going on in my head where I literally do what I do. I mean, a lot of people don't know what I do because you only see what goes on in Crackbook, and because I don't have equipment, I don't have someone following me with a camera, I do things as fast and hard as I can. And that could mean I'm at an adoption conference and I sit at the back for fucking 8 hours, and then all of a sudden, finally, the Q&A comes and I go bang, and I drop it, or I wait for the event to come to an end and I close the door and I literally take the mic, and I've done this on numerous occasions. You know, even in London a couple of weeks ago, it was a rig that was very professionally organised. You know, people were stood there with scripts, reading over their scripts, MPs, visual people, blah, 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 blah. And people book the timescales. And when it comes to speakers platforms, it's really rigid, right? People want to know intervals, bang, bang, bang. I mean, I've crewed for Tony Robbins, and obviously, as you know, the Success Resources, and I would be on the cue card sitting at the main sort of platform, making sure that the time frames are hitting bang, 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 because if a speaker comes out and then all of a sudden it's delayed, you know, people put, hence why it's called a 3-minute pitch. That's what it is that I'm going to do. And it's a business terminology called a 3-minute pitch, and it's a foot in the door that basically says, this is the information I'm going to put, but you're interested, you're going to want to go to the next level with me. And that's what I've got to achieve to do. I'm not very good at doing it. The reason that I'm not very good at doing it is because I'm the one that goes to the next level. I could do with maybe somebody else that's, I say 3 minutes, but this is going to be a foot in the door. I'm probably going to take them for about 30 minutes, half an hour. So I've got this thing in my head. As you know, when I usually do these, actually, if I've got my phone, oh, my phone's not charging very well. I'm having a bit of a few problems with my phone at the moment. So, in fact, I can do it here. So usually whenever I go on these little crazy moments of mine, I'm sorry because I've just seen that Paul is here. I feel a bit insensitive doing this right now, but I use, here we go. Are you ready? It's literally as soon as I click on this, it's going to happen. I'm sorry to do this to you again, Paul.
Social workers from his mother. It is a forced adoption. This is footage the social workers never wanted you to see. Britain is the only country in Europe which commonly allows adoption without parental consent.
Adoption is for good, and as soon as we can place a child in a loving home permanently, better for all concerned.
And that's where I stop it. So literally, whenever I do what I call these flash mobs, sorry guys, but it does it to me every time. And I'm sorry, Paul, for those that have been here while I've done this. Paul Roberts is actually online with us now, and that is his wife, who is crying in the background as her baby is being taken from her arms, and she doesn't. What mother would want to let go? You hold your baby in your arms. What mother would want to let go? I spoke to the police today, they were both parents, and I actually let them in my house today, even though it's a fucking mess. And Paul just said it's okay. I know that it must be like, I mean, that family seriously must echo in their hearts on a daily basis. I know that my daughter, the last words that she said to me was, "Mummy, please take me." And I hear that every day. "Mummy, please take me." And I couldn't. And I was talking to the police today about it. And I asked the police officer, "What would you do if anyone hurt your kids?" She said, "Fucking kill them." I said, "We all say that, don't we?" I said, "But the reality is, it's not really that simple, you know, and it's very difficult to protect your children in this world." And I went to Asda earlier on, and as I was walking past the bench, I heard this woman talking to some other people about how protective she was over her son and her daughter and her grandchildren. And you know, and then she said it. She went, "Oh, anyone ever touches my kids, my grandson, I'll fucking kill him." And I sort of like, you know, said, you know, "Do you ever think that you would be capable of doing that?" And the reality is all of us actually are really good people. Nobody is born to kill anybody. Yes, we're survivors. Yes, we're hunters and gatherers, but ultimately we are fight and flight. And the only reason that we ever as human beings get into a fight or feel that we need to go into flight is because we feel under a threat. And if we feel under threat, then we're either going to retreat in ourselves, like what I call, you know, the cowering dog in the corner, or we're going to come out like a raging lion. And unfortunately with me, I come out like a raging lion. And every day it gets harder and harder and harder to not cross a line. And every day it gets harder and harder and harder to not just want to do this in what I class as a very simple way of dealing with this. And every day I remind myself that it's not as big as I feel. There's 5 people in my way: District Judge Andrew Shaw, Sherilyn Osborne, and okay, it goes up more really when you really think about it. My head's going a bit fresh because it's like, fucking barrister for this, barrister for the calf, barrister for mine, barrister for this, the judge's secretary, then you've got the bloody social worker, then you've got the junior social worker, then you've got the senior social worker, then you've got the manager, then you've got the support workers plus one more, then you've got a one. Do people understand that for an Aspie, that is hell? Like, seriously? I don't even know these people's names. Like, how can any person who doesn't even know your name, who's never sat down for a meal with you, who's never spent the day with you, who's never gone out and had a family event with you, who's never been with you when you've been under the influence of, I don't know, Christmas Day drinking or something, who's never been with you when you've just had a complete and utter fucking meltdown, and has never been with you when you're celebrating something, you know, and has never walked through trials and tribulations with you and knows how you deal with these things or how you manage them things. You know, even the police officer today, I say his name's Stephen, you know, they don't ever call themselves PCs to me or sergeants, it's just Stephen. He had a white vest on today, actually. I don't know why he had a white vest on, but he had a white vest on. And, you know, they had to remind me that I've had previous incidences, and these are all different people. So, and I have to keep reminding them that this is the problem, that there's all these different people. And I've been trying to find where I fit in all of this. And I know there's a great statement, a great quote that says we're not born to fit in, we're born to stand out. But I don't really know where I stand out either, because it's like I look at all of the angles of all of this and I see something very complicated that's been created that can be so simple. And I have this image going on in my head, and you'll know that I'm a very visual person, and I can even hear the sliding of the news reporters' doors as like I'm sliding the doors, and I can feel the grass under my feet. So I'm already there. I'm already there with my headset, speaking and giving my speech that is going to fucking smash this entire world. It really is. It's going to rock this entire fucking world. But I have this image of, while speaking, as I used that video a minute ago as a scenario, because whenever I do these smashes where I attend the conferences or go bang and say something, I play the video. It's called Exposure Don't Take My Child. If you haven't seen it, please Google it. It's on my YouTube. It's called Exposure Don't Take My Child. It was done by ITV. It was done by Blakewell Production, and I was behind it, but because I'm gagged, I couldn't be on it. So we pulled pretty much everybody together, and Paul, thank God, in the crazy moment of his child being taken, you know, had the sense to record it. Because if he hadn't have recorded this, Paul would be sitting as a gagged father, just completely down. And he is. And actually, Paul, as from today, tomorrow morning, you are going into your loft or your store cupboard, and you are getting your guitar out, and you are getting your amps out, and you are getting your singing voice out, and you are going to put together some words and some music and some lyrics and a song for your children, and we're going to put it onto an album with a lot of other people's stuff, and we're going to really put this out. So I'm looking forward to seeing the photographs tomorrow, Paul, of your equipment as you are getting it out and getting back out there and making some music for your kids. That would be absolutely amazing. And if I don't see them pictures tomorrow, I'm going to somehow get a car and drive all the way to Stafford and fucking get them out myself, because you need to do this and we need that sort of equipment. So that's the way it is. So anyway, and you could really help with the 5th, because what the police are concerned about is me with this 3-minute pitch, right? Because jobs people don't really understand 3-minute pitches, because 3-minute pitches is for corporate world. It's a corporate world thing. And obviously, know how to wear some shoes and a suit and things like that, and I do carry it very well. In fact, I look very mighty fine in my work clothes and suits and stuff. The stuff that you've seen me in is just stuff that I've just grabbed from a charity shop. In fact, all of it, everything is charity shop. or gets given to me from from like homeless places and stuff like that. So but yeah, let me just take you on a bit of a journey for a moment, because if you can maybe come here with me, then maybe we could pull this off. And I have a bit of a crazy vision, and I talked to the police about this, and wow, I mean, when I did this to the police today, seriously, fucking welling up eyes. I had 2 police officers in my, there you go, Amber has just put the YouTube link down in here for Exposure Don't Take My Child. So if you haven't seen it, please get past that first few minutes and listen, because there's lots of statistics there, there's lots of legal stuff there, and the person that you hear at the beginning is Grove, and Grove is actually going for Prime Minister, and if he gets in, he is going to drive adoption to craziness level. He's adopted, he believes in it, so we've either got to get him meeting his mum properly. I do believe he doesn't want to, or he has done. I can't remember which one it was or which way it went, but there are issues there, of course, and maybe that needs resolving. So and maybe he'll change his mind, who knows. Maybe he was a forced adoption, who knows. So anyway, I was saying to the police that on the 5th of June, which is in America, is Independence Day, and it's also National Environment Day, and it's also, oh, I've got my smile, but it's actually Smile Month still at the moment. But on the 5th, it's a very, very, very significant, powerful day. And in Portsmouth here, like literally behind me right now, where I live here in Portsmouth in the UK, on the 5th, we're going to have here probably one of the biggest events in terms of politics that's gone on for something that's meant to be quite small in a very long time, to the point that the police are not prepared for this. They're having to bring outsiders in. Stephen is from Southampton. The other lady that saw me the other day is all the way from down in, I think, Autumn Way. Someone was brought in from London. They're going to have to bring London in, because I assume XR are going to be here. I assume that Yellow Jackets are going to be here. But if I assume, I make an ass out myself. No, I've heard and I've seen things and people talk, but obviously the police are going to see everybody, and they're all getting told the same eyeballs to stand down. So far, apparently, I'm the only person to have told them no. So I don't know what's going to be going on. But what they're concerned about is, they thought that for me to get the 3 minutes with Donald Trump, that I wanted to go face to face with him. I'm not completely grandeur, and I know that this is completely securityed up. We have the Queen. We obviously have the Queen's partner and the royals and her family. We have all of the D-Day veterans. And apologies to somebody the other day, actually, because I made a right boo-boo on that camera. And I was meant to actually say the so-called authorities, and I actually said so-called veterans, and I didn't mean it that way. But I still don't like the word veteran just as much as I don't like victim or survivor. So, yeah, and then there's all of the heads of states that have been invited. And as far as we are aware, I have been told today that all of these are confirmed. So the Queen is confirmed. Donald Trump, obviously, we know is confirmed. The heads of states have confirmed. And then, obviously, the Prime Minister from ours is going to be here. All of the people who want to be MPs are going to, Prime Minister are going to be here. And all of the MPs and EMPs and all those things are going to be here. Now, when we protest people, they're usually in a building, and then there may be a little bit of gullet as they're changing over or coming out, and it doesn't work. Or like me, as you know, I did it at the Solicitors Awards, I did it at the Social Workers Awards, blah, 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 blah. I'll go in the room, and if Linda's here, Linda is also like me, she does the same. We'll go in the room, we'll be a guest, and then we go back. If I attempt to do this at this particular event, and like on Sunday, it was literally, I left my phone on their rig because I was the stranded mother and they didn't mind putting my phone on the rig. And as they were shutting down and preparing for the police going, I reconnected the rig back up, told the police 3 minutes. I always tell the police 3 minutes, just leave me alone for 3 minutes. And I did what I did. If I attempt to do this on the 5th, I will get a bullet to my head. If you watch the live video back, you will actually hear the police officer telling me that. She doesn't necessarily say you will get a bullet to your head. What she says is that if you attempt to do this, there are people trained, and you'd have to listen to the rest. And then obviously we talk about the guns that are down there, and that it's not them carrying the guns, that it is the specialised team that is down there carrying the guns. And basically they are trained to shoot to kill if anybody invades a certain point of space, right? And it is that planned that even Donald Trump knows were actually fucked up when he came over last time, and he didn't actually lead in line with the Queen. Don't forget, there are lots and lots of rules around the Queen. You know, how you present to her, how you speak to her, how you name her, how you walk past her, what length your skirt is when you speak to her, how you curtsy, how you bow, darling, even how when you sit down for fucking dinner, darling, the sort of conversations and things that you have, and whether actually you're allowed to even speak to mummy. You know, it is that way. Do you know what I mean? So this event is for D-Day. It's the 70th celebration of D-Day. Now, I went last year and it was lovely. I've been the year before, it was lovely. And it was just the kids got to go like on the helicopters. If you've seen mine and Dean's joint account, you'll see a big helicopter, an aeroplane. That is at the D-Day, like the other year. And it's a very, 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 very traditional thing here. But it's been taken away by this event. Now, the reason that I wanted to sort of come on today is that obviously I come from a military background. And I've got lots of friends that are gangsters, and I've got friends that are SAS and friends that are MFI friends. I've got MFI friends, man. Actually, I probably have got friends that work at MFI. I mean. But yes, obviously I have MI5 friends. In fact, I've got a feeling that one is on here now. And I've got friends who are interventionists and strategic coaches and business planners, and friends who are DJs, friends who own rigs, friends who've got music studios, friends that, and if I really ask people to help me do this, I think people would help me. And what I basically want to do is, you won't, unless you know the comment, it's called South Sea Common, and it's a massive big common, and it's where all of the festivals are, like Victorious and Mutiny and all of that. Portsmouth is big for its festivals. It is festival city here, and they're good with it. The security know what they're doing, the police know what they're doing, and yes, we have the same apart from the kick panels, we have the same setup going in as if they were using it for Victorious and things like that. So basically, out on the park, you can hear everything from in there. There is no roof on this. They're not in a conference centre. There's no roof going on this, as far as I'm aware, to this moment. And I don't think they can do either, because the structures are just sat on the park. It's not like it's deep structures that they could put in a marquee, but it still wouldn't matter. We could still do this. I know I've been on here quite a while now, but when I went down to survey it, I'm going to go down tomorrow or probably the next day and just see where they're up to. And I've probably got the police on here. Hello, it's Stephen. Hello, if you're here. Love you. Your right hand doesn't always show what the left is doing. No? Point you in one direction while trying to do something else. I'm known to do it. So what I want to be able to do is be somewhere within the park with a headset on, connected up to a PC, a PR system, which potentially we have. It's just getting it to me. It can be on the van or it can be on the park. They are not going to be shutting this area down. And I'm going to be speaking to Stephen either tomorrow or the next day after. And we're going to be speaking pretty much right up to the event, because he sort of knows that I must be I'm tenacious and I'm not going to stop until I've done this. My mum is going absolutely fucking mental at me. She is calling me all sorts, like that mental health, and I'm having a breakdown, and this is completely crazy, and I'm going to have the kids taken, and they're going to literally, you know, detain me before the event. I've spoken to Stephen, and they've got no issues whatsoever with what I'm about, what I stand for, what it is that I want to do. All they want is, they just don't want any trouble in Portsmouth. They just don't want a load of people turning up, taking drugs, drinking, causing havoc, because it's a really lovely place here, and the event is about D-Day. So I have pretty much the main timetable, and I know where there is break. Okay, so I know when the marching finishes, blah, 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 blah. So I want to be in the park, and I want to get everybody to stop. Obviously not the Queen, because she's got stockings on, or tights, and get everybody to take their socks and shoes off. And I know this sounds completely freaking mad, but it is one field. It is one common field. And the Houses of Lords are going to be there as well. And obviously the Queen. So the Queen to us is our highest ranking officer. Then we've got our army, and then we've got our parliament, blah, blah, blah. And then we've got ours, and they're meant to be leading and protecting the people. Do you know what I mean? And I want everybody to just stop and just be equal with each other for a moment, and just realise that we are all just trying to find our way in the world right now. And we're not perfect. We all shit. We all vomit. We all go through diarrhea times. We all get coughs and colds. We all blow our nose. We all probably wipe it at some point. Sometimes we probably spit. You know, we all probably scratch something or tickle, or see whether or not we smell. And, you know, we all probably worry about whether this little thing down here is all right or not. I haven't got anything down there at the moment, but you know what I mean. I say at the moment, I was joking, you know, like you get a boil. I've had piles as well, by the way. I've had the knot totties and everything. I've had tubes down my throats and tubes up my arse. You know, that's not my 3-minute pitch, by the way, guys, but you know, I think that if we can actually just get us to just come together, and I know you don't like Donald Trump, but to put the great back in Britain would be a really awesome thing to do. And the only way that we can put the great back in Britain is to change the way that the people of Britain think. And because it's D-Day, it's about war, it's about killing people, it's about shooting people, it's about fighting people, it's about land, it's about domination, it's about control, it's about protection, defense, it's about attack, it's about weaponry, and also now we look at nuclear. Okay, but the reality is that was 70 years ago. Okay, and Germany didn't go away. Now, one, Monty has to come down. It's as simple as that. He was a paedophile. I would rather put a man up there who committed suicide for battling to be gay, but was not a paedophile. He was gay, though, who actually beat this war because he broke what was called the Enigma Code, and that stopped the war. So I would rather have him up there than Monty. But the reality is since then, there's been a war on our minds. Okay, so Germany didn't get to, and I'm not necessarily saying it is Germany, but if you go back to David's here, so, and he is still here, he's probably just sitting there, or he might have even fell asleep with me waffling, sitting on the sofa. It's still there, and he just looks like he's here. But if David is here, David could probably answer this, because there is research that was done on how they are removing our children, and I think it was done in Sweden. And a lot of psychology comes from Germany. A lot of the methods that are used comes from Germany. But this particular thing that's done, it shows exactly how they break away the father, how they alienate the mother, how they break the bond, how they separate them from their family, how they alienate them from any friends, and how they keep them completely away from their community. So they are literally there and are completely powerless and submissive to the courts, because if they do anything else, then they're in contempt of court, or would show that everything else that they're saying is not true. So the challenge that I've got is we are all individuals. Every single one of us here right now probably doesn't leave their house very much. You probably might go shopping. David, I'll tell you straight away, that man's fridge is empty. That man has some milk and some fucking butter in his fridge and lots of nuts. And he puts every single penny into designing this website for you all, for the faces of forced adoption. And I please do urge everybody, to get this up, because I'm hoping to God you're all going to be on there when I pull it up. And when I can show that these are all the faces of forced adoption, and when I get to where I need to go, they will be on a screen, and I will literally go all the way through. So please do go and connect to facesofforcedadoption.co.uk, and on there is this information that I was telling you about, how they have been mind controlling and breaking down the family for a long time. And it's our job to now restore family. And what I would really, really, really love to start down at D-Day is Families Reunited UK. Now, we already own the Facebook page. It's already running, it's already working, it's already active, it's already doing its job. But I want to take it to a whole different level. If I go out there calling everybody state kidnappers, I'm going to get arrested and I'm going to get chucked to the side. However, if I go there to reunite families, and these are the reasons why these families have been separated, and we can restore the families, and it is far more powerful. And the reason that it's far more powerful is because the more we can reunite people and bring people together and do that, and that's going to probably take some counselling, some therapy, blah, 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 blah. Not the German styles, but by saying how these were separated, and then obviously it's going to give us more access to more paperwork, things like that. So that's something that I want to do, because from the war, people were separated from their children, after the war, and now. And we now want to be able to change this, to move this around. And in January, Donald Trump is going to do one of the biggest things ever with Red X. And we better be bloody ready, guys. I know you don't like this guy, but come on, please, just, I don't know, maybe have a bit of faith in me. Maybe help me be louder than them for 3 minutes, a bit longer. All I need is to be walking somewhere in the park with some speakers close by, and we already know that the DJ equipment was louder than theirs and they can hear it on the inside. The police are sort of okay with this. They would rather that I did it this way than try to approach him in any way, shape or form. And I'm aiming this at Donald Trump, but don't forget, we have the Queen, the Prime Minister, and all of the delegates. And if we can pull this off, that's even them getting out the car. So as they're driving all the way around, all of you should be on the park with your red X's. Yes, if he knows that all of the traffic campaigners are there, he will stop the car. I promise you, he will stop the car. And he will get out and talk to you. I promise you that. He is one of the biggest campaigners for trafficking. And he knows through his own industry that he was in previously that this goes on to other levels. He is not a man of integrity. I'm not saying he is, but what I'm saying is he is a man in the right place that can do a lot of stuff right now and certainly influence us here over in the UK. And if we can do this, then we really do have the biggest opportunity. We've got live BBC, we've got live worldwide media, live, yeah, not just it's going to be recorded, it's live, okay? I'm worried about people not respecting the veterans, but I'm also worried about us missing this opportunity. And as we say at XR, that unfortunately to be inconvenienced for what they stand for is insignificant, and to be inconvenienced for what we stand for is necessary. And that's sort of what I wanted to get off my head, really. My mum's worried. I get it. She doesn't want me to make mistakes. She thinks she's just watching her daughter, have breakdown after breakdown after breakdown. And, I know she finds it really, 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 really hard. She's not in my life. I don't have a relationship with my mum. My son does. But she is really, really worried that obviously with an arrest, if my children are not with somebody, then obviously it is immediately into foster care. And my family will not come in and take my kids. They won't. They would let them go into foster care. I have got a couple of people with me. I do sort of think that Amber needs to come over. I know she's probably sitting there going, whoop. I really don't know if Amber can handle me in the flesh. It's a bit different taking my shit online. You don't have to take it so personally, but being in front of me, I am not the easiest person to live with. Everything is for my boys. And I like a very peaceful, calm, tidy house. And if anybody rocks my foundations and my structures and my routine, I'm not the nicest person, and I'll kick you out of my life as quick as anything. Even my son has been told that unless he changes his way, I can't live with him. I need a lot of certainty in my life sometimes in a world that has none. So, and if I can get certainty out of where my toaster is, where my socks are, you put something down at night, you expect it to be there in the morning, do you know what I mean? And that gives me a little bit of certainty. I know it's a bit OCD, and I've got a label of OCD, and I'm quite okay with that. I just believe that everything has a space, everything has a place, and how I live here just doesn't work. So, and it's annoying the fuck out of me. And before I go, one thing that's really annoying me, and in fact, police did us a massive favour, because I was at the point where I was just thinking, I'm going to let everybody down. I can't pull this off. At the moment, I'm not going with any sound equipment because it's not here. I've got less than a week to get it here. I'm hoping, like I said to the guys today, I'm hoping that XR are bringing the rig. I'm hoping that somebody is bringing a mic, and it's going to be on this side, and I will just do my snatch and grab. And they said, okay then, cool, fine. I have told them I'm a netball player. I have told them what happened at David Cameron's election night. But the problem is I'm going to be dealing with individuals. So I'm asking everybody who's with me to red up your X, so they know the difference between XR and Kelly's XR. And it's only because I don't have stickers. They will have stickers. Now, if I had stickers, you would have my stickers or badges, or it's not even mine, it's yours, but you'd have mine. And then that way you would be recognised as being with me and not one of the arrestables, because obviously I'm not an arrestable, and it's known that I'm not an arrestable. You will see a lot of different people as well, like a vest on with Legal Observer or crisis management, blah, 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 because people take a position. And that's what I wanted to do with you. And I did speak to the police about it today, and I did say one of the main reasons that I want to get everybody down at the park is to be able to talk to everybody about July, and had a bit of a conversation about been working with the police on this. And he said, there are a few perks of working with us. He said, we get you the media. He said, you all go on about these media blackouts. He said, when an unorganised one comes along, we tend to shut it down really quickly, or we'll just leave it. And if we just decide to leave it, it's up to the protest to make enough noise. He said, if you organise it with us and we do, he said, we give notification to the press. That's the difference. So, anyway, how are you all? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. I am tired. I'm physically and emotionally tired, but I've got so much bounce in me as well, if that makes sense. I'm happy-ish. Like, I wake up in the morning just wanting to literally just go bang at 5:30 in the morning and out and go. But then it's like, oh, I've got the kids and and then it slows down and I run back down and then I go back to sleep and then I drift in and out of sleep. And I just knew tonight that if I tried to go to sleep tonight, I would just be churning all of this stuff around in my head or trying to write it out of my head. So one of the reasons that I use live is not actually about who's watching. It's just a way of me just going and just getting it all out my head, all just because one, as you know, I'm a diagnosed Aspie, and I've put up some brain scans of the difference between a neurotypical brain and an Aspie brain, and as you'll see, we're wired differently, so our neurons are going off like fucking 80% more than a neurotypical brain, and that's everything from that fucking light that I hate like crazy, and I just want to go, and if I had my own way, I would have all of the light fittings changed in this house, but the wiring is a nightmare in here. While I'm thinking about this Donald Trump thing, I've thought about everything from shutting this road down here to kidnapping them all, like literally shutting the island down. If I had enough of you, mate, I'd go for it. Like seriously, I'd stick one child on my back and one in a carrier at the front, and no fuckers getting them out. It's as simple as that. And if anyone tries lifting them from behind me, then be careful, mate, because there'd be a shetty in my hands, down my legs. Do you know what I mean? But yes, I actually would be capable of doing that. I would be quite capable of letting them all come onto the island, and if the police are here, I'm just letting you know what I would be capable of if I wanted to make that decision. And it's just how I feel. How I feel and what I do is two different things. And maybe if you people recognise that, then we wouldn't have so many kids taken. But like, the way that I feel is that when this comes to an end, that there should be enough of us to circle this entire fucking thing. Obviously, don't give any of the veterans a heart attack, but to make it very, very, very clear that we're going into negotiation until it's done. And that the wall comes down, we all take our socks and shoes off, and we all sit down on a fucking field, and we all talk about what the fucking hell's going on with this country, and we sort it out from there. And then yes, they can sail off the next day over to Normandy and carry on with their big celebration of being these heroes that fuck this whole fucking world up for our future generation. And they did. The reality is they have done. It doesn't matter who threw the first fucking stone. People shouldn't be fighting over land and property and minerals and oil and gold and money and wealth when the Lord will provide you with everything that you need. We're not meant to have this monetary system. We're not meant to be capitalists, you know. We're not meant to have hierarchy. There is no king and queen other than the King Jesus himself. Do you know what I mean? We are all sovereign beings. This is what I can't get my head around, that people don't understand. The Queen has us living like peasants, like, you know, because she has a royal crown on her head, therefore she is a sovereign being. Look, come on, these people don't have driving licenses, they don't have car insurances. I mean, if you listen to David today, you know, David was actually talking about the car accident that the Queen's husband, Philip, had. And he was giving a brand new car the very next day. He doesn't have a driving license, he doesn't have insurance. And you know, he doesn't have to go out and think, oh shit, I've got to replace my car. He's just given another car. You know, I very much doubt they have bedroom tax on them rooms there, and it is a council house. You know, the Buckingham Palace is not a privately owned quarters. It is a property of the state. It's the property of the crown. You know, it belongs to whoever owns that crown in their world. Look nice on my head, what do you reckon? I bet it's fucking heavy. Would you want to be like that? I couldn't live like that. It would drive me nuts. But yeah, we are sovereign beings, and the birth certificate really does give them the access to your children and their records and everything. And we, like Paul. Paul hasn't got his guitar and his singing out for ages. Do you know how soul destroying that is to somebody, to not be who you are and what you are about? And I hope Paul does get up tomorrow, and I hope Paul does, you know, get his equipment out, and I hope he does pick up his guitar, and he is going to cry because he's not playing to his boys. And you know, it is going to be hard because he isn't going to have the same passion. But if he writes for them boys, mate, I'll tell you what, Paul will produce some amazing, great things, and I look forward to seeing it. And again, David is probably not here at the moment, and I'm actually sort of looking to see who's here. Don't forget, this screen doesn't show me how many people are here, because sometimes I get really disheartened and think, oh, you know, I'm talking to 3 people. And then later on, I'll look and it's like, you know, okay, so there's maybe 200 people sat live at that time. I'd probably feel a little bit stressed if I thought there were a couple of 100 people sitting there looking at me chat right now. But I just think that we won't get an opportunity like that. Like, even someone I was talking to today said it was the Clintons that were here when it was last ever, you know, like this. So yeah, I really, 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 really would love you all to regex yourself up for human trafficking, children trafficking, put state kidnapping, hashtag state kidnap, and come and sit on the park. And that's it. Just come and sit on the park and be present, and faces of forced adoption exposed, and just be on the park and be sober, be clean. If you do have those sort of issues, then obviously let us know. And you know, just have a really, really lovely time, and come and talk about July, because from what I see, if we've got enough of us, we could officially bring this properly to people's attention. Because if I can just go from my gag to being able to talk in the media properly about this, as you know, I'm coming out as a journalist, and never done it before, be interesting. I'm sure I'll piss off a few journalists because I've not been to college or uni for this, but I'm going to give it a go. And, you know, I hope there's going to be enough people down there. I definitely know I've got a couple of people with me. So at least I know that somebody's going to be looking after my kids while, you know, I network and try and talk to people. I mean, ultimately, if I was on my own, no kids, nobody there, I could probably even take Donald Trump's mic, and you know, I know that probably sounds grandeur, but I would actually really like the challenge of seeing how far I can get in and where I can go. And if you've seen some of my videos, I've managed to get into BBC recording studios, BBC private parties to talk to people, into radio station front doors. I've got to people's houses. So yeah, if I wanted to get where I needed to get to, yeah, I could probably pull it off. I managed to pull it off to get to him in the first place, and then tickets for that event when I first ever went, because don't forget it was Business O2 as well. I just haven't talked about that. It's a different chapter, different thing. But that's how I started going to the Mac in the first place. I never paid for a ticket, mate. I never paid for a ticket for Donald Trump either. I freaking earned my right for a 3-minute pitch on putting the great back in Britain, and Donald Trump loved it. As you see, make America great again. So let's make Britain great again, hey guys. And I know you really hate the police, and I know you really hate social workers, and I know you really hate judges, and I know you really hate courts, and I know that these people have done some really horrible things to us, and people can say, look, it's just individuals, but between all of us individuals, that's a lot of individuals, do you know what I mean? And I really want to see for myself, is this really a massive problem, or have I just got a lot of individuals, or have actually I got people fucking about with me, and really, you know, some of their stories aren't true. I don't know. So unless you come and meet me at the tree, we're never going to know, are we? So, yeah. So my title said coffee, fag and a chat. And who can you ring at 1 o'clock in the morning to just get stuff off your chest? But David says, I'm up if you need to chat, girl. So I can always give David a call. And in fact, I probably do need to speak to David quite a bit, because we need to get this website. It's David's website, I'm not taking over anything. It's just we all work together. We all work in co-symbioticness. It's all about putting a piece of puzzle together. So again, before I go, if you have had a child taken by the state, please, please, please go over to Faces of Forced Adoption, register all your details, fill out all of the stuff, and get ready, because then I told you guys I want 24,000 cases, mate, and I'm going in to crush it. And I said that the day that they took my kids, and I meant it, and I'm coming back to do it. And I believe that we're not just going to be going to the UK courts. I'm going to find somewhere that exists. I don't know who it is or where it is yet. I haven't learned this information, but by speaking on videos and asking questions, somebody will give me the information. I need to know who oversees everything. What is the main place for the entire world? Like, it's not obviously the EU, because the EU is only representative for the EU places. Commonwealth, United Nations, but the United Nations is polarity, so they're part of the problem and part of the solution, as is everything. Obviously, we can talk about money, Bilderbergs, blah, 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 blah. I need to gather together a world framework with this whole problem, because Britain are never going to accept it as it's all them. So they need to become part of a bigger structure. So if I can statistically show that in Zambia way that so many hundred children were trafficked to the UK, that in India that children were trafficked over to America, that England, as we know, there was a public apology to the children that were shipped to the USA and to Canada and to Australia and to New Zealand. We know this. As you know, over in Africa, different things are going on. In Canada, in New Zealand, obviously there's this stuff with this Aborigine stuff. I'm a little bit sat on the fence, because I do know that, and I've seen evidence that some of the children that were taken from the Aboriginal camps have gonorrhea in their mouths and chlamydia and sexually transmitted diseases, because this particular Australian community didn't have any sexual boundaries between ages. And we are pretty much the main society that has that. And I think the Westerners had the right to go in and do that. I do, in that situation. However, I do have other friends who are Indigenous people, and they live in Western lives, and they are being persecuted with the same brush, and that's not right. That shouldn't be happening. And in fact, there's a very, very, very good community of family of people that are Indigenous that are going through this in Arizona at the moment, I think. So yeah, so before we go, please, 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 please do remember that my headspace is with Texas, England, Australia, America, India, Uganda. We're worldwide. You know, we are crossing borders with RedX, with Forced Adoption Exposed and Halt the Adoption Drive. We might not think that we're making an impact because we don't see the effects, but I get messages of people that let me know that this is really working. So I've gone over my hour by 40 seconds, and lately I've been trying to just waffle for maybe an hour 40 minutes, because all of these are going to be edited, by the way. Have a videographer who's going to literally sit and churn through hours and hours and hours of my videos. So Amber, you better start getting all that ready for an email, because he's going to want it all, even the stuff that we don't own and have. He wants everything. He says he's going to kill me after 2 weeks of listening to my voice day in, day out. Bless his cotton socks. But on the 3rd to the 7th, or 3rd to the 3rd, I have asked Amber to pick up on this, and she hasn't done yet, so she better not miss this. It is the Raindance Film Festival, and I want to get this documentary in as a potential applicant. And if we could achieve this, it could be really big for us. It could be a full-blown documentary going onto the red carpet over in Monaco, or wherever it is. Yeah, I think it's Monaco. And this would be a really great opportunity for us. So, yeah, I've gone over. I miss you guys sometimes. Sometimes when I get really, really, really ratty, but sometimes, like, you're the only people who get it. You're the only people that understand that, you know, to listen to, you know, exposure would bring such tears to somebody's eyes and feel so personal. And I've actually never met Paul and his wife, and we've crossed paths, but you know, we're like so personal in each other's lives. Do you know what I mean? We like share an emotion that, unless you have faced this trauma, you will never, ever, 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 ever be part of that gang. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's the grieving gang. We're the grieving gang mates. So hello to all my grieving mates. How you doing today? Still grieving? Yeah. Still grieving good? Yay! Carry on with the grief. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Keep grieving away. So that's what I'm going to call us now, the grieving gang. So anyway, it's 2:30, and I just got a feeling I'm not going to sleep tonight. Mindfulness. So it means that I'm okay, and I'm very grounded, and I'm in quite a very good place, actually. And my heart and head is telling me that we could actually really do this. And if people really, really seriously think about this, and we maybe all come together and talk about this, protesting is not illegal. They just want to do it safely. The police don't bother with you. If you do a proper one and it's arrestable ones, it's pretty safe. Yes, they want to make a bit of an impact in the media, but actually, even though they're saying that they want to make an example out of all of these people, I know that the majority of people were arrested and released. What they've done is they've just held on to it until it was all over. And because it hasn't finished. So, please go to some XR training. Go and chat to people. Go and find out exactly what you can and can't do. Get a little bit of confidence. And just come for a picnic. Like, literally, just come for a picnic. Just come eat some sandwiches, chat with each other, talk with each other, meet each other. Come meet me and my kids. Do you know what I mean? Come in and actually enjoy, a day out, a couple of days out if you want to, and yeah, I spent some time at the sea. It's not as great as the sea that David took me to. He's got some sand out there, but we got pebbles. Um, and take an opportunity to put your own t-shirt on and your own banner and put your flag out and just be around to be a witness and plenty of cameras for if I manage to pull something off. I'll do something significant anyway. I'll speak to the right people. I always do. I've never failed you yet so far-ish. But it's been going on too long now, guys, and I really don't want to be doing this next year after, blah, 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 blah. I'll work within the solutions, and that's fine. But to actually expose it, I just want to get it over and done with and do it. If it's not done, on the 5th, then it's got to be done in July. And I'm having to hold my book off because of all of this. So I'm now moving my book to the removal date, which was the 13th of December. So rather than my gag date, it's now going to be on the removal. So it might change everything, but it's still the same story. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Leave a comment, say something, say what you want to hear, what you want to hear from me, what you actually want from me. What do you think it is that I can actually give to you for you to be here? And what is it that you feel that I would give is best value? And also, if you actually do want to deal with Kelly the coach side of me, then I'm going to start actually coaching. I'm a pretty fine coach. I'm a pretty good coach. I'm a great sports coach. I'm better at interventions, but I would say that I was a good coach. I'm the world's greatest interventionist if I really wanted to be, but I'd say I was a great coach. My leg's just gone dead. I've just had an EDS moment where I've just pulled my ankle out. That's really not funny. So yeah, actually, before I go, I completely forgot that it's EDS Awareness Month still, and that's what I was doing this month. And literally, before I go, I could show you it, but if I turn I don't know if I can show you. I have literally, I don't know if you can see that here. I've literally pulled my ankle right out of socket, and it hurts. And even though I'm smiling, my ankle hurts, and it's going to be really difficult to try to move. But ow, no, I've really hurt my ankle. That is literally, guys, from just sitting here. My kids have designed me some pieces of equipment over the years. Shit, seriously. Oh, it's not funny. Listen. Ready? Oh, I just had a little bit of a pump there. It's not cracked properly, but there. Ow, that's what hurt. So yeah, there's a little bit of an EDS awareness month. So anyway, guys, we're all dealing with this in any way, shape, or form. I'm not asking you to deal with this the way that I deal with it. I'm going to put a banner up on my timeline later on that says, I have mental health, and it has me. No, actually, I wrote a really good one earlier on. It was quite funny. So glad to have mental health as well, any positive thing that I have. No, I'm an ASPE. An ASPE doesn't actually sit under mental health. It's just that, unfortunately, these neurotypical fucking idiots seem to think that we should be put in a box of disabled and try to completely ground us because the ASPEs and stuff are going to change the world. Not that I know that the world needs changing. This is not a climate change. This is a people change. Take back your heart, mind and soul, as I keep saying to you. And I'm going to find out what David is into at some point, because I think David needs something else to do other than sitting coding these websites together day in, day out. And gradually, if anybody wants to contribute to David putting widgets, I will 100% promise and guarantee you that he's putting widgets into his website. So if you can, and if I know he needs some money to get the printers together. I mean, you could be sending me my t-shirts now, but he doesn't have the stuff to print and stuff. He needs, I think it's about 70 quid to put it together. I promise you, this man is not putting this money into drink. He's not putting this money into drugs. He's not even putting it into food. It's his own money. He's not asked anybody for a penny. But if you want to contact the website and order your, I have the Faces of Forced Adoption on my wrist and attached to my jacket. I don't know where my Scott one's gone actually, but I've always had a Scott one that I keep. I'd love to get the Red X one. I must actually contact the guys and get the proper Red X stuff, and maybe I can try and get that before thing. That would be good. Obviously, I've got no money coming in until the 18th now, and I'm literally daily trying to deal with this matter, and I also need to get all this stuff up, because at the end of the day, if I worked for a charity, I'd be on a 6-figure fucking salary doing this. If I worked for a corporate company, I'd probably be on a 70, 80 grand a year job, maybe 140. Even chief fundraisers are paid considerably well, and that's just one person. I'm doing the job, and Amber doing the job of nearly quite a lot. And then obviously between a lot of us, and what I really, really, really would like to do in the end of all of this is I actually do want to bring in a considerable amount of money that I can equally distribute to all of the parents that have been affected. And I want to put you all in a situation where you're in your own home, you got your own car, and you're having your lifestyle. And that means you are going to have to do something for yourself. But I hope by the time my time comes to part with you all, that I know that each and every single one of you is healed. I know it's going to be hard, and I know we don't ever get over it. But I hope that you are living the life that you want your children to come home to. And that's always the important thing, because I always say to parents that when your children come to find you, and I'm talking about children that are taken young. I know I've got a couple of people here that have got older children, or just even siblings that have been taken. I know the bond gets broken, and I know that there becomes some form of interruption, breakdown of communication, and it affects relationships. But the sort of things that I want to be able to provide people is the tools for them to be able to deal with that and communicate. It might mean coming paintballing with me, do you know what I mean? I'll get you shooting each other all day, you'll be all right afterwards. I might take you horse riding. That's the sort of environment that I want to be in. So when I get my end result, and my dream, and me personally, not Kelly Cotton, Step Up Britain Forced Adoption, but just Kelly, who ultimately is meant to be getting married next year, and having a little girl as well. I have my daughter. I have my daughter. It's a difficult one. Even my son has told me today that he finds it difficult that I've had kids again. Yeah, if I get my own way, I'd love a proper big outdoor pursuit equestrian centre for quad bikes and mountains and hills and stuff, where people can come along for, like healing retreats. So, if you want to kill your kids, then you can come along with me, and I will put you in a sumo suit and I will get you to fight it out. And that's ultimately what I want. I don't like this service. I don't like this social service. You shouldn't be coming in and sitting around the table and having people intruding your life in this way. If you've got a family that got a few dynamic issues, then why can't you just come along with me for 3 or 4 days and sit around a table and have some meals and go out quad biking and racing and stuff and have some fun. And, you know, find out who you are and build your relationship in that time. And that's my ultimate dream. And I'm glad to have been able to share that with you as well, because this was before my children were taken and nothing's changed. You know, I still want to be a foster mom. I still want to adopt. And I don't necessarily think it needs to be in the same paperwork, but I want that formality that says that they're part of our family. And I still want to help, you know, people in crisis, you know, and if I can do that financially, that would be brilliant, like amazing. Like if somebody's just fucking crashed their car and, you know, they don't really want to be thinking about dealing with car insurance and, you know, all of the challenges, especially if somebody's hurt, do you know what I mean? I'd like to give people peace of mind during those situations. Whether the world is going to end or not, and I think we should just still make the most of it, do you know what I mean? I'm just waffling now. It'd be nice to chat to a couple of people, to be honest. So, in fact, if anybody wants to come on live with me at any point, you're more than welcome. I just don't know how to do it. And I don't like these watch things that people do, because they're really difficult to share and they disappear after they're done. So I don't like any of that. So if people want to start coming on, don't forget, from July, actually I could do it literally from now. I could log on from here and I could go over onto the news channel and I could log in over there, but I just don't feel that I'm professional enough for it at the moment. I need to come on and be like, hey, CBN News, blah, 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 blah. And at this particular moment, I'm still just a little bit. Now, if I want to, obviously, because we're building up for this, for the 5th, I'm going to be live on 5th on, is it CN News or something like that, CN News Network. Obviously, it's one of us that set this up. So, and with the name, it will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and websites and stuff like that. You can make yourself look like a fucking giant when you're just a net, you know what I mean? When it comes to the internet, and that's quite handy. So, yeah, so please go over to facesofforcedadoption.co.uk. Get your wristbands from them. It doesn't come to me, it's not funding for me at all. And your badge that comes with it. So, and long-term foster care is on the other side. And help get the website pieces in by buying these. And help get this website ready for your database properly. And obviously, as you know, I lost my Forced Adoption Exposed website. We still have it, but my friend who went all the way to the United Nations based on my children being taken and completely flourished her career, has decided to lock me out of my website and not hand it over to me on GoDaddy. Some fucking friend had. Autism Women Matter. Yes, it was actually designed by me with this lady who, you know, likes to go off and talk to people about like how amazing she is while using my case, and actually denies being a personal friend of mine, who completely let me down in the middle of my case, who acted as an advocate for me being Asperger's, and then fucked off to deal with private matter and didn't turn up to the court cases. Left me in the fucking lurch. Didn't know that one, did we now, hey? So anyway, still plays my videos over in Australia. So no, I don't call her a friend, and she knows it, and I've never ever said that publicly, and I'm going to get even more public about it soon because I've had enough of it. And it will be in the book, and what she did to me in court will be in the book too, what she did to me at my meeting, because she thought being an advocate was more important than my family. Lots of nails in the coffin in my case, lots of people who made some big mistakes. I made a big one with myself, and I beat myself up about this daily, but I don't get to beat up the people who make mistakes, do I? So, you know. So anyway, I'm completely waffling, I'm completely talking to myself, I'm probably talking absolutely relevant bullshit. I'm not the one sitting there watching. I am actually, I can see myself on tape. Unfortunately, I am sober, I don't have mental health. I just sometimes just need to get out of my head, and everybody needs to. You know, partners work, they have careers, and I can't always be there for you. Your children have got their own lives, parents, mums, friends, And even if you just wanted a bit of a coffee and a fag in the chat, sometimes you only get that for a few minutes, maybe a couple of hours. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and just let you know that everything's going to be alright, you know. It's all going to be alright. You'll all be restored at some point from there. This can't not go anywhere. It has to go somewhere. But the only way that it's going to do that is for you to have a voice, for you to take your mess and turn it into a message. And you can do that. You can record your story into like I do now. You could just sit here in front of the camera right now and sit on Crackbook or YouTube, and you could just literally press play live and say, hi, my name is Kelly Cotton. Hi, my name is Paul Jenkins. Hi, my name is Paul Roberts. Hi, my name is Charlotte. And on so-and-so day. So for me, on the 13th of December, 2 officers and 2 social workers walked into my life and kidnapped my kids. Yours. Very easy, very simple. I'll do a proper thing for this if that's probably what I needed to unwind, to come around to do. That's sometimes when I talk, sometimes it helps me get rid of all of the shit to be able to come down to the real focus. And the real focus is, it's time for you to tell your stories too. So for July, you don't even have to wait for July. But think about it. For me, please. Just to show that, you know, that this is working somehow. And what I'm going to ask people to do is to just sit like this and just go, hi, I really, really don't know how to do this. I'm quite nervous. Yeah, just be open, be raw, be authentic. Just say, this is really weird. I've never, wow, look, I'm looking at myself on camera. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you've never done this before, it's okay. I've got no makeup on, none at all. I haven't washed my hair. I have no particular clothes on for you. Obviously, always. I am not a professional. I'm just a mum. And the very, very, very first time I ever did this, I was going, fuck. And one day it will come back to haunt me, do you know what I mean? So, on the 1st of July, I am going to be asking every single one of you to start do video diaries and join me for the July Awareness Month to do a video diary, and that will be your story. And you can write this if you are really scared to do this. I'm not forcing anybody. I'm not telling you you have to. I'm just asking you. You have a right to say no. But if you want help to do this and you wish you could, but you don't feel you have confidence, then I'm happy to do this with you. I will even come and do it with you in July. Hi, my name's Kelly. On the 13th of December 2012, 2 of my kids were kidnapped. Blah, 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 blah. It can be as long as short as you like. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's obviously, now I feel better. Now I can go to sleep. Sometimes it's just so much junk under there that I've just got to get to where it is that it's stored. I'm just like, it's like my paperwork pile that's on my side up there. It's like, right, there's that idea, there's that thought, there's that little bit up there, and it's not in a, you know, it's like, A, B, C, D, which drawer is it in? Do you know what I mean? Can't quite find it. And all of a sudden, you just go, poof. So there you go, Amber. It's the barristers, there we go. The barristers are marching that they don't get paid enough. So on the 1st of July, forced adoption expiries are going to do video to their barristers. There you go. And then the next day to the solicitors. And then the next day to the social workers. The next day to the CAF officers. The next day to the support workers. The next day, finally, to the judges. And you're going to name them. Simple as that. And each individual all doing this in all one mass with your red X's on is not going to go away. Could you imagine how many of you could get that? That'd be amazing. So anyway, it's coming to the end of May, and May has been about BDS Awareness Month. I hope my mum's bored and switched me off and doesn't know anything that I'm talking about. She's probably go to bed thinking, oh fucking hell, I'm not watching that live shit. I don't know if she keeps it on in the background, who knows. And actually she's told me that if I carry on talking about her on social media, she's going to stop seeing my son. I call that emotional blackmail. And also very abusive to my son. And not very nice. So I wouldn't suggest you ever say that to me again, Sean. That's really not a nice thing to do. He's your grandson. So I suggest you have your relationship with your grandson. And the last word on that is, Mum, maybe you shouldn't have actually spent my entire life writing to the newspapers and magazines and news articles and going on telly about me, eh? Maybe I wouldn't need to respond publicly. Touche. So, yeah. July. Be there. 5th of June. Please, please, please be there. I do believe that there's a big yellow jacket thing going on in June. Let me know of any dates, and as long as I can get some funding and stuff, I'll pretty much be anywhere I can get to at the moment now, because I'm confident enough to bring my kids on the platform now, and I'm rigging up, you know, as much as I can. So again, guys, if anybody has, and I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about if you have these things that you don't need and you can bless us with, proper professional camera, proper professional film stuff, any form of PA system stuff, a van for the rig, if you have any, or do anything with banners, printing, flyers, any of that sort of stuff, yeah, that would be absolutely brilliant. If I could literally build, I mean, what would actually be completely perfect would be a news press van with all of the stuff in it and a bed. That would be fucking ace. I could literally just jump out, do interviews and report back to CBN, not CBN. Maybe I'm going to work for CBN, who knows. I've got a feeling I'm going to work for the police. I got this really funny feeling this morning that as I was chatting to the police, I was like, I'd actually come and work for you guys on this matter. I said the only thing is I'd suss out your corrupt ones really quickly, and yeah, so I could do that. That would be quite fun. I'm not saying that child trafficking is fun, but what I'm saying is I could legally go through the doors and actually rescue these kids, and I'd be quite happy to do that. I'd be quite happy to be the person that goes in the room and picks them up off the floor, because it's just before I go. I say just before I go, but when you go in to rescue a victim from trafficking, it's so different. Like when you go in, obviously most of you parents are people that haven't actually abused your kids. But obviously I know the other side of the coin where children are abused. And when you go into these situations where these women are held, or children are held captive, like really dark, dingy rooms, sometimes can be in what was like police cells, but they're like old warehouse buildings and stuff like that. And within the real gangster stuff. And I know this one personally because one of my friends was trafficked in this way, part of Hunger Games and stuff. And it's from the coaching world. And then obviously you see movies and films and stuff, and I know it's not great, but lots of documentaries and stuff, but there's a couple of other sides of it that I've seen with a lot of this stuff that I've been doing. And you know, when you actually do go in and bang, they're all going raid, and then you've got the victim literally sitting there like this. You know, you've got to be able to go in, put something around, cover them up, give them their dignity. You might not want you next to them because they don't know if you're going to be raping them, hurting them, or dragging them out. They don't know if you're friend or foe, and you've got to literally get in, get them out, and let them know that they're safe, and then help them. You know, it goes on to somebody else then. But I would like to stay with them and have them come and live with me, and that's really what I want to do. Seriously, I'm such a fucking shitbag for getting upset about this stuff. I hate it. It's like I keep seeing Charlotte's name there, and you know, I know Charlotte is meant to be, you know, probably on holidays from college, and she should be with all of her brothers and sisters and her mum and her dad, and they should be having their school holiday times. It's really shit. It's really shit. I hate it. I hate this system. I hate what they're doing to the families. I hate what they're putting people through. I hate that they have no understanding of someone's lives and that they're invading and intruding on people's lives, these people. They have no empathy or no compassion to even ask you really raw questions like, have you ever been sexually abused? Fuck off, seriously, you ask people like that? It's like, did you know, if we go to the midwives, yeah, they'll say, are you in a domestic violent relationship? Really? Oh, someone's just going to turn around and go, oh yeah, last night he gave me a right punch around the thing. Can you see my black arm? Like, fuck, these people fuckwits or what? Right. There's a better way. There really is a better way. It's so simple. It's so simple. It's like so simple. It's not even genius. It's just simplicity. And we just complicate everything. You know, we beings just make things so fucking complicated. And life is just so simple. Grass just grows so effortlessly. Nature waters it just effortlessly. It's like trees just go from this thing to this oak tree with no care, no nurturing, nothing. It just grows. Squirrels do bits and nature does bits actually, so that's wrong. Nature does bits. So I can see that my lives are flashing in and out and people are coming in. So just to say that I came on earlier just because I was actually in a really good place, but I wasn't going to sleep, and I got a lot on my mind, a lot of different angles, a lot of different things going on, and we got the 5th with all just for people who are coming in. Please be in Portsmouth for the 5th. Google why and see who's going to be there and what's been going on, and come along to our picnic and come and meet up for July. And I was just giving a little bit of an insight of a couple of things that are going to happen in July. I could talk for Brett and me, I really could. And obviously I've got to work on my 3-minute pitch. So I need statistics, I need the most current statistics, but then Disraeli said there's lies, and then there's statistics. And I need to get as much information as possible, not so much just for this 3-minute thing, but leading into the next stage of all of this. Because the moment that I can literally bring all of this together properly, I don't know if we've got enough to do this yet. I think we have. But if we do have enough and we've got enough, then I can run what's called SPS data. And if I can run SPS database on all of our all your threshold documents, and that's what I'm wanting from you, all your threshold documents. And once I can show that you were brought below the threshold by their terminology, not your actions, but by their terminology, we've all won. Case over, dismissed, illegal removal. Now can have our kids back. Simple as that, guys. It really is. And it's done by their own laws. That's the funny thing about it. It's called misfeasance, malfeasance, and non-misfeasance in public office, which is classed as a miscarriage of justice. And if all of our cases come under what I think they're going to come under, which was an 18th century 18th century law, they're fucked. In fact, the law says they should still be decapitated because it's kidnap of a child, which has very, 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 very harsh circumstances. So I can't believe I've been on for an hour and 30 minutes, non-stop talking. I don't even know who's here. I don't even know who's watching. If you are still here, just send me a like, send me a thing. I'm meant to tell you to do this. A social media marketer will say, hey, make sure you give me some likes, loves, faves, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, I then upload it to YouTube and people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I'm going, hey, likes, loves, loves, loves. But if you are here, chances are you've all just gone, yeah, just let her have a waffle. And nobody who doesn't have credit can sit on YouTube this long. Yeah, I got a like. I don't know who that was from, but I got one. So somebody is here and somebody is listening. So I am not talking to a wall and I'm not talking to myself. I'm actually talking to somebody. And if that somebody is you, then I really, 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 really hope that it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, fuck's sake. See, then all of a sudden the load come up and I think, oh shit, there's quite a few people here. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning here in the UK. If you are still up and it's 3 o'clock in the morning for you, then be the creatives and create something completely new, something that you've never done before, something that might be something that you've thought about for a really, really long time and you haven't acted on it, or something that you've kept a secret for a while. So be creative, write it down. If you're going to be going to bed now, or you're in another country and it's morning, good morning. If you're in another country and it's good night, good night. I would love to be able to do this in multi-languages. That would be absolutely brilliant. And I'm hoping, just before we go, that we have a little bit of an orchestra band coming together. And I'm wanting to put together a symphony. And I'm wanting to put together something that shows the whole level of emotions with an orchestra, from getting that letter to the feelings and emotions, right the way through to how the chord goes with a whole push, pull, push, pull, and use music to do this. To the trauma and sadness, and we'll probably use a suicide victim for this one. Make it really hard, really tough, and you know what I mean? Go right for the fucking, for that, rip their hearts out. And this particular woman also speaks quite a few languages, so I would actually love to be able to speak to the whole world about this, and to be able to do so in each of their languages, and talk about this that sort of way. Seriously, I fucking hate living here, I really do. I shouldn't say that because it just keeps me here, manifests me being here. But I really do need to be out in the woodlands. I really, 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 really want this adventure centre. Like it's who I am. Do you know what I mean? It's what I'm about. It's what I do. I couldn't think of anything greater than getting up in the morning with the kids and going out on the quad bikes over the field. That'd be brilliant. I just think that the way that they do therapy is really shit, and I think that I have a whole different, better way of doing it, and I want to find out if it works, and if it does, then we could really restore some families. You know what I mean? Like really do some really great work, and and bring people back together who don't know each other, who haven't probably met for years, who don't really know what to say to each other, who don't know what questions to ask, don't know if they can ask the questions, who don't really know how they feel about seeing each other. And I just want to be able to give a space for people to do that, and to say some really raw things, you know, and I know I'm going to have to face these things with my kids too. My kids are going to ask me some really painful questions, and I'm going to have to have the answers. So I'd like to help other people through that before I get there. So that would be really good. So anyway, guys, I am going to go to bed, but I'm going to be quite cruel to be kind.
A 6-hour-old baby is being taken away by social workers from his mother. It is a forced adoption. This is footage the social workers never wanted you to see. Britain is the only country in Europe which commonly allows adoption without parental consent.
Adoption is for good, and as soon as we can place a child in a loving home permanently, better for all concerned.
The government's new Children and Families Act is likely to increase.
Anyway, you can watch that at any point. Share it out to your friends. It's on the link. As Grave says, that adoption is the best thing, and if he gets in, he will wreck this for us all, and we need to make sure he doesn't get in. In fact, we need to make sure that he's not involved in this at all. And tomorrow, child's going to be taken somewhere. I might hear about it. I might hear about it later on because they don't know who to contact. We might be able to do something. We might be able to help. But until I'm in a situation to be able to do that, there's nothing I can really do. My hands are tied behind my back. And I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. There's been child removals quite local to me that I've just wanted to get to, and there's no way for me to do so, and certainly not with the two boys. But I would really, really, really like to have a team that, you know, we train. I'm very, very, very funny about training because I want everybody to work to their best of their ability, and people to know what they're doing, how to understand the rules and stuff, because we officially could put together a team of people that if a child is being taken, that we're all ready to take that child and that family. There's no reason why we can't do that. Between us, there is probably enough networks of people that could register to take families in, that if we've got somebody and we know that we could intervene and do that, there's no reason why we can't have a community of people that do that. I wish I just could pay you all, do you know what I mean? I wish I could just say, hey, what job do you want to do? And I'll pay you and you do it. That would be amazing. But before I go, to Amber, who I give a lot of shit to, who takes a lot of crap from me when I'm being pulled all over the place, and my mum's doing the editing and Dean's doing the editing, and, you know, everything's going on in the flat's driving me nuts, and I'm trying to get deadlines, and I get really ratty with Amber, and especially when it comes to graphics, it's like, no, move that, that's not good enough, blah, 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 blah. So Amber's been with us for 5 years now. I didn't want to celebrate it the other day, but we're up to Amber, who has been with us for 5 years. I know many of us have been here for different things, but Amber works like a, you know, if it's not newspaper articles or research or getting stuff out or changing the timelines over or working on trying to get a visual picture to say something but words just won't say, or, you know, dealing with a parent, you know, making sure the information is getting through, you know, dealing with the court swinging, you know, there's so much that we do that you just don't see on these platforms. So I have got a web designer now. He is going to host for me. it's going to save me so much money, because my websites have been completely draining my account, which hasn't been good, because I pay for email systems and hosting and websites and blah 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 blah. So and it's been draining because it's never quite been finished, because I don't quite know what I'm doing. So that is going to be amazing. David could do some stuff, but I'm trying to get it all like on my computer. So I think he's going to, you know, build me a whole hosting thing as well, to host my own websites and hopefully actually build a career out of hosting other people's. And that would be absolutely brilliant. I could have a whole Step Up Britain system. Do you know what I mean? And obviously I own Go Mummy as well. So, you know, hopefully get that moving. And I need to make money. I need to be an entrepreneur, and there's nothing really wrong with it. I shouldn't feel guilty about having to make money. Yay, she's yawning. Seriously, I've been so wide awake earlier on. So yeah, I'm actually starting to feel a little bit cozy now, ready to go to bed. I probably won't, I don't know, I'll probably end up watching a film or something. So I want to be up with you guys in the morning. I've got a lot on tomorrow. It's Wednesday tomorrow. I do think there's meant to be a festival I'm meant to be at tomorrow, actually. Family Day I'm meant to be at tomorrow. I'm sure I'm meant to be at Family Day tomorrow. I've got literally, actually, what have I got? I got, let's find out what have I got. Oh my god, there. Oh, actually, that's a fair point. No, it's not 10p. 14p. Fucking magic, man. Blessings to the 14p. In fact, there's only one. I love it when I do this. I find it quite exciting. It's sad, I know, but I do. I got another penny. And I think I've got 32p or maybe 54p in my bank. And one day I'm going to look at these digits and there's going to be like 24 million billion pounds in my account. It won't mean much because it'll probably happen on the day the world ends. No, my fucking luck. Hey, payday comes right on the day that the world ends, goes into my bank in the morning, and by the afternoon the world has ended. That would so be my luck, wouldn't it? I'll buy you all an ice cream. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get some sleep. I don't know who's here, but somebody's energy is really amazing. I've just felt some amazing, lovely energy just come in somewhere. I know people are down. I know people are struggling. But the revenge, the best revenge is success. And wouldn't it be amazing for each of us to stand in front of these people that did that as the people who are the best version of themselves, and to be able to just take your kids back with such flair and finesse. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, officially, every single one of us can legally go and get our kids. It's just that we don't have the funds, the team, and the know-how to do so. But the reality is, we can. There isn't a case that can't be annulled. There isn't a legal case that can't be prosecuted. It's just that you've either got to have £150,000 to get that team to go in there and do it, or you've got to have a team who believes in you so much that, you know, they're willing to work pro bono for you. And either way, actually, the reality is, you know, whether adopted or not, there is a system and a process that exists. It's just that, unfortunately, we are learning as we go, and it's not going to be until we all come together as a collective with what we know and work out how this works as a team. So rather than loads of eyes and we are together, you know, we can actually become a proper team. You know, because as we sit on the park and have a bit of a picnic, we might learn about each other and what each other is capable of doing and what each other is able to bring to the table. And we can literally sit there after that and go, right, well, fantastic, that's great. And work properly as a team. David and I do. David and I work together very well. We have done for maybe 6 years. We sometimes have our bits of doof. But from day one, when we met, you know, we always said it was about the kids, and it didn't matter who we were or what we stood for, what status, class, wherever we came from. You know, we are all in the same boat. I don't really get this up, down, top, middle class, whether you speak with a plum in your mouth or you know, or chew up your ass. You know, I don't really get this stuff, but I do wish. In fact, my mum basically said that I'm just attracting lowlifes around me, and I find this really effective because I attract the greatest people ever around me, and I feel very blessed and very loved and you know, part of something very beautiful and very magical. We might be different, you know. I'm sure you must look at me and think, oh my goodness, you know, that's not somebody that I'd sit down at the table and have a coffee with. You know, a lot of people think I'm a bit of a snob. Do you know what I mean? I've been very, very, very lucky to. I know I've had some shit going on in my life, but ultimately I've been very lucky, very blessed. I know it's come out of divorce, but you know, I did get to go to Barbados, and you know, I have had opportunities. I might have lived with council with my dad, but I got to go off sidecar racing with my mum, or clown school if I fucking wanted to. I could go bowling. You know, I have had the opportunity to pretty much do whatever it is that I wanted to do on them weekends, and I did. You know, that's how my mum was. She was more like my mate. She was more like my sister. It changed. It changed when all this come out. You know, so not Aaron and Faith being taken, but it changed when my child abuse come out. That changed my relationship with all of my family. And my divorce with my mum and dad changed my relationship with my family. You know, I had a bit of a hard time because my mum's been emailing me. I don't usually talk about my mum, but you know, she's been emailing me. I'm going to go out, you know, I'm going to have the kids taken, and you know, I'm this mental crazy person and all this sort of shit. And yeah, I only have to mention the word God, and everyone thinks I'm crazy. Do you know what I mean? So the police officer Stephen, who came around today, actually thought that I was very intelligent, very articulate, had high emotional intelligence. And that as much as he didn't see me as a threat, that he did see me as quite a voice and felt that he needed to stay in contact with me over the next few days. And as I'm an SP, he knows that I will share any old idea and thought that's going on in my mind. And also because I see everything, and even I want this to be, you know, a peaceful demonstration. It would be, you know, it would be really, really lovely. I actually used to work with Street Monkeys, right? And my son's still in contact with Street Monkeys. I haven't spoken to them for ages. And in fact, I think my friend who first ever set it up is still here. And could you imagine if I got a load of Street Monkeys to be spinning and jumping over all of the fucking things? People wouldn't know what to do. If I didn't think that there wasn't a chance of guns going off, and I really don't think that they would, but we could put on a fucking spectacular show, do you know what I mean? Like, be the jesters and entertain these people, and then go bang with the whole message, you know. Mustard seed, mate. Mustard seeds in here. That's what you do. Mustard seeds. You get a mustard seed of faith in there, mate. Get a mustard seed in there. In there. You only get right in there. It goes, yeah. You know, they will either fold under the pressure and they will vacate their positions, or they will pick up and they will run with their position, and they will go for it. So anyway, I've waffled on. I'm just talking to myself, guys. Like, if you hear, like, why? Like, I'm just literally, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to myself, and I've just got so many thoughts going on in my head right now, like serious mental overload in my head. And I haven't got the space to create the way that I like to create through music, art, drama, you know, mind mapping, as I like to do. I'll mind map everything. Everything gets mind mapped, every idea, you know, and I'll create and I'll come out with something. I'll go, yeah, fantastic, that's going to work. So I can literally just wing it on the 5th and just see what happens and see, I don't know, maybe someone's got a stereo out their fucking window. I'll ask anybody. I will pull something off on the 5th. I don't matter what it is. I'm going to be there broadcasting for CSCN, CBC News network. In fact, I'm taking on the whole network over here in the UK. So I'm going to have to learn as I go on this one. So yeah. Oh shit, there's like 25 comments in there, so I haven't actually checked, seen. Oh shit, okay. Do you know what, Paul? I seriously hope that tomorrow you go and get your guitar out. Just seeing some of Paul's comment. Oh, thanks, Shadow. Shall I read you this before I go? I'm a faint shadow of my former self. I used to highly motivated until the multi-agencies attack on my family is soul destroying what they do. Listening to you, Kelly, gives me some hope that I will recover. Do you know what, Paul? And to everybody else, I can see the top of Alton Towers roller coaster from where I live. You're joking. You're fucking joking me, Paul. See, Paul, you're too vital in this and you don't even realise it, because you could have helped us pull this Alton Towers thing off all this time, and you've had studio equipment all this time as well. So you're far more vital in this than you realise. And the thing is, it's not about, what was the word that he just said then? He just said, that he'll recover. We're never going to recover from this, guys. We're never going to get over what they did to us. We're never going to move on, per se. It's different. It's not the same trauma as grief, where you bury a child and you have a ritual. But what I would say is to have that ritual to your child that you've lost, to grieve the child, because then they're probably older, maybe even adults, some of them, and that child is gone. And I know it's really hard. You have to find some forgiveness. In fact, you have to find complete and utter forgiveness. And you're all going, wow, now she's crazy. But it's the hot coals. Fire. But when you do this, and you hold on to that anger, you hold on to the pain, you hold on to that, it's not hurting them. They're asleep right now. They ain't suffering. The one who's holding the hot coal is the one suffering. And you have to let it go. That worked out really cool. I wasn't meant to do that. I actually fucked up. What? How? Did you actually see it fly out of my hand? I don't know. I just dropped it. But, you know, when you're a big hands banged, that's how easy I get distracted. School reports always said I got distracted. But hands again. What was this? Hot coals. Yeah. You know, when you keep them hot coals, you're only burning yourself. And by letting go of that anger, and it's the anger that will destroy you. It is the anger that will eat you fucking alive. Don't I know it? Don't I know it? Anger makes me really sick. Anger would take years off my life. Like, it's hard. It's not the easiest thing to do. But just remember that people like Martin Luther King, you know, like spent years in a prison cell away from his family, and the anger that man must have felt me. Like I would have been, so I've been in a cell. I know what 27 hours in a freaking cell feels like on quite a few occasions. I've never done anything criminal. I have just literally, I did get double shoplifting when I was like 13, but that doesn't count. But like, sort of protesting stuff or to do with this, but I am actually yawning now. But what you do is you just get up every day and understand the level of suppression that you feel with the amount of grief and emotions that you're dealing with, and you have to be grateful for the love that you have for your child. I know that sounds really strange, but there's no point putting energy out to your child about how bad this situation is. What you have to do is you have to wake up every day and say good morning to your children. I do. I always say good morning to Aaron and Faith. It's part of my routine. You know, I've got my kids here with me, but I still say good morning. Good morning, angels. Good morning, my little angel. How you doing? I hope you have a very, very blessed day. And I always send very, very positive, good vibrations to my son and my daughter. And sometimes I can feel when they're not so good, and I just say, it's okay, darling, you're in my heart, and give me a hug, and I love you. And it's about keeping that connection going, that they may be out there, but they are children that were created by you, and we are connected to everything, even this phone. So you have to keep that alive. You have to. It does mean having birthday celebrations for them. It does mean having Christmas celebrations for them. It does mean having significant moments and significant times. But it just means that you can then give yourself some time to go, well, I really need to focus on my physical health right now. So I'm going to be going to the gym so many hours a day or a week or whatever. Or that, you know, you want to advance in a piece of music or something, and even if you maybe do it for your kids, and obviously nobody wants everything down and depression all the time, people do want to be lifted up, and there are little things that you can do for yourself by setting a goal within a couple of days. Or, you know, I know that people haven't got much money. Childcare is no issue. I was being sarcastic, but you know, I know people are feeling depressed. I know people are feeling very lost. I know that people are feeling suicidal. I know that people are angry. I know that people are hurting. And I know because I go through this myself. And I know obviously I've got the boys. I've got a reason to keep carrying on. I obviously still have my 2 older boys. And as much as I don't have my family, I have family that are thinking of me and love me, and you know, they're in jobs and stuff like that, and life goes on. But you know, I'm getting to know them. I don't really have friends. That's a bit of a touchy subject. Just so you do know that one of the reasons that I don't actually really have friends is that I've lost some very, very deep personal friends to cystic fibrosis. So I lost my friend at a very young age to cystic fibrosis. She was 16 when she died, and that was really hard. I've lost, like, I mean, me, seriously, from like the age of 3 all the way until I was 11. It was me, Daniel Barnes, Neil White, Andrew Fothergill, and hang on, Daniel Barnes, Neil White, Andrew Todd. No, Andrew Todd is part of the freaking doodah. He can fuck off. Start again. Daniel Barnes. And Kelly's probably here actually, his sister. So Daniel Barnes, Neil White, Andrew Fothergill, and Roger Martin, and then later Gavin Pegman. So I was inseparable from those 4 guys, from literally, and Giles Wrigley a bit, but literally all the way through infants and junior school. like my rock, like with me day in and day out. That was it. Whether we walked to school together, or whether we played football, or whether we were climbing trees, that was it. And then I think when I went to a different high school, and that was it. And then when I met again, when I actually went to that high school, it was completely different, and I don't even think anybody knew me. And I think that's just made it really, really difficult for me to actually really just see anybody as, I don't know, like this person that's going to be in my life for the rest of my life, because I've come to the conclusion that that's just not the way things work. But I have learned that sometimes you don't see people for a few years, and then as I've got older, I've realised that, you know, all of a sudden this person turns up. And in fact, actually today, I'm currently talking to a dad who is part of our network, but it actually turns out we've done the thing, and he's 42 and I'm 41, but we went to primary school, infant school, and high school together, and he's only here in Farnham, and he has recording equipment, not recording equipment, DDR equipment. So I'm hoping I'm going to have sound equipment for this day. If somebody has, please, I don't know how much it fucking costs, but like, I will treasure it with my days if I can just borrow it for a day. But if somebody has a proper pack that just like brilliant, that'd be great. So anyway, I'm just, I don't know. I just got so much to get out of my head, because otherwise I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and as I wake up, I'm going to have all these thoughts, all these different ideas going on, and I would probably just want to pull the duvet over my head and go to sleep. And something that I used to do, I'm stepping back into it, is at night time I used to write out all of the things in my map to make sure that at night time I could go to bed with a clear head and wake up in the morning. And then obviously I start my day immediately, or I try to. I haven't been able to for a while, but I try and bang up and on it. So no, it's not about getting over it. It's about accepting the grief that we have and living with it. And you have to live with it. It's not going to go away. The more you fight it, the more you battle it, it will just destroy you. So the quicker that you can accept that it's got Liam asleep on the other side and the two babies. Yeah, so it's not about getting over this. It's not about being a victim to it either, and it's also not been about being a victor. It's going to be a very slow daily walk, and I'm not talking from somebody who's got 20 years experience in this. I'm talking about somebody that's only got 7. So for my way of dealing with it, I have to take every second as it comes, and I do hit moments where I think I'm not going to come through this. It's going to be this quick, you know. I'm going to take a pill, or I'm going to grab a knife, or you know. I couldn't really do that. I don't know how people do that with that self-harming thing. That's really weird. I think for me, I don't know if I could put a noose around my neck and jump out the window. I keep thinking like something pressing, and that would go. Pills, I've done that. You know, I used to do that when I was a kid. I used to eat medication for breakfast. You know what I mean? So like, sometimes you just end up with a really bad stomachache and lots of shits. So you got to make sure you get the pills right. You know what I mean? And I don't think I could shoot myself either. That would be really weird. Like trying to pull a trigger on your own self. Like that's got to take some serious fucking guts to do that. I mean, to people out there who think suicide is for the weak. No way, mate. Like seriously, the reason that people battle is because actually to take your life is like to get to that point is you've either got to be in sheer real desperation at that time and it's that quick, or like seriously, you've got to have not thought about it, because if you actually think about how a bullet can pull through your head, and if you think, what if I miss? What if it doesn't go all the way through and I end up just this brain damaged freaking doodah and someone's got to look after me? So, like, do you know what I mean? It's like a bit weird. But what I say to parents is, if you don't learn to live with this, you're never going to bring your children home. Like, never. You're going to repel your children away from you. Your energy is going to keep your children away from you. They won't come and find you. They won't look for you. They won't be watching you. And that's because you've turned so much into yourself that you've actually turned your back on them. And you've switched the energy off between you and them. And the only way that you can bring that back is to stand back as the father or mother of the child. And by doing that, you have to embrace yourself. You have to heal yourself. You have to bring yourself out of your shell. And you have to rise as the mother or father of these children. And the only way that you can do that is by accepting that you have this grief. Accepting that these people have put you through the fucking mill, but not be a victim to them and not let them have your power. They don't have your power, but you are letting them have your power. Every day you get up with anger, you're giving your power. Every day you get up and get pissed off, you're giving them their power. Every time you get narky, you're giving them their power. Every time they're rattled, you're giving them their power. Every time you're getting anxiety, stress, feeling depressed, you're giving them your power. They've already taken your kids. So don't let them have your soul. You take it back. I am a sovereign being, and I stand under my true identity, and I bring joy, love, mercy, forgiveness into my life, and I accept it within myself here and now. And that's the attitude that you have to have. You have to be saying, you bastards might have got my kids, but you didn't take my soul. And they will come home to me, and you've got to open yourself for your children to come home. And the only way that your children are going to come home to you is because you're preparing for them coming home. If you keep preparing that your children are gone, you're never going to see them again, that is your reality. So you've got to change it, that your children are coming home for Christmas. It might not be this Christmas, maybe, might be, I don't know, you're going to find out, but it will be one Christmas. There is going to be a Christmas that you sit down with your children as a family, and that's what you've got to hold on to. Okay, I'm not into the whole pagan thing, so let's have a meal, okay? So let's have a duck, or maybe you're a vegetarian, I don't know. But just keep holding on to that meal that you want to sit down with your family, and imagine how many one table, how many chairs that you need, how many plates they're going to be, how much knives and forks there's going to be, what meal you're going to cost. Break it down to how much this meal's going to cost you, what you're going to need to buy, what things you're going to have, what ingredients, what you think you want to do for this meal. Think of Christmas, think of the little gifts that you might want to buy each other, and focus on that. Focus on that. And don't focus on anything else. Just focus on the laughter and the joy and the love and the learning about each other again, and the self-discovery that you've got going on. Or, hey, then my adoptive parents might even be at that table. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I'm going to shoot out, guys. I don't think I've got any mental tips around. This is where I have to be an absolute skag and try and find a mental tip in my drawer or something. And actually, I even pick butts up. Do you know how crazy that is? I can probably do it. Oh, we got some, yeah. No. Things you do when you're skimping. I shouldn't say I'm skimp. I am wealthy beyond all capabilities, and money comes to me just in abundance. Like abundance, large amounts of money, massive big donations are just bless to hold the adoption drive. That would be amazing. And my book is going to do fantastic. Maybe. Stopped performing in 2013. Okay, so I'm actually seeing there's loads of comments here, and I feel really rude by not just checking them. Oh shit, Danielle's been here as well. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to shoot off. I love you and leave you. If you're just catching up or just coming on, it's just been a little overall catch up of lots of different things that are going on. EDS Awareness Month, a bit of mental health, Donald Trump coming, the D-Day event, July awareness, and just some different things that have been going on, and just talking bits of coaching, bits of strategizing, and me just getting out of my head. And on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to be doing more and more videos, I'm afraid, guys. There's going to be short ones, long ones, building up for the news press. I'm going to be coming on to see whether I can do 3 minutes. I'm going to be trying for 3 minutes, and let's see how we go. And you can all give me a hand and start writing down the comments and what you think should be in these 3 minutes. We're going for the whole Step Up Britain thing, but obviously it's going to go from planet, animals, and then written through. So I don't believe I'm doing this for nothing. I don't believe that I'm this crazy person running around with mental health who's in this war zone with all these things. I don't think that that's what's going on. I believe that we're creating something that is going to really, really, really change this whole system. That is going to be wonderful for us all. I really do. I do believe that the Lord has a plan and purpose for me, and He's gonna make something very beautiful out of this. And I do believe that we're going to come together. I can't believe that I come here. And, this can't be a waste of my time, because if it is, there's other stuff I could be doing. I don't do this for me per se. If I wanted to get out of my head, I could record myself on a normal video and then delete it whenever I wanted to, or keep it. Do you know what I mean? I could help myself that way. This is for other people in the same boat, and you might not feel that I give anything to you. You might feel that I give a lot. I hope that what I can give you is the understanding that what they've done to us is wrong, and we have a right to our justice. But this is about a complete and utter law change of this whole system, and we have to prevent this from happening to other families. We have a duty to do that. If somebody raped us, we have a duty to make sure that they don't go on to do it to somebody else. If somebody, is ripping people off left, right and centre, they have to be pulled into line. We here in Portsmouth can literally all be stood on the same piece of common between the parliamentary statuses and the common people. And what a piece of history that is. What a photograph that's going to be, especially if that gate comes down. Like, why shouldn't the gate come down? I told the police that. They said, "Oh no, but how much it's cost to put up there?" It's like, it's not about the money that it's cost to put up there. It's about what it represents to take that wall down. Like, it would be one of the most beautiful things to do if they actually chose to do that themselves. Not we take it down and say, "Hey, walk with the people." They'd be shitting themselves, mate. They'd be thinking you're mugging them. But for them to just go, it wouldn't be that easy to just take it down. But you could with the panels. You could take them, kick. They could take. Donald Trump could kick the panels. Come on, the Queen could kick the panels. It really could be a beautiful thing. And by them doing that, there's a lot of people out there that are anxious, thinking that England are going to do stuff, America's going to do stuff, Russia's going to do stuff, and they're agitated, waiting, and they're getting together. And by doing this, we really could unite the nations. I know people are fearful of a one world order and a one world government, but if that was done with people in positions in the right places with transparency, and I don't even want to say this word common purpose, because I know how people feel about this stuff. I've researched it and looked at it myself, but I can't see from everything that I've seen how there is not another way of doing this. You know, the birds are chirping now, but during the night, cleaners have been out. Somebody's been out, and tomorrow morning, at 6 o'clock in the morning, the cleaners are going to be out here, getting up at silly o'clock in the morning to make sure that Great Britain streets are ready for tomorrow morning. There's not as many people out there that once used to do this. But yeah, you know, there are people out there doing that. You don't see it, but government have had to make that happen. We, the community, didn't make that happen. The council have made that happen. Okay? So there has to be a bridge between us and the council. We're all individuals. We all exist in duality, good and bad, yin and yang. We're all capable of killing each other, just as capable of loving each other. So we've got to find a way of us all just getting on and having some form of guidelines and boundaries that just means that we respect each other as we move around, and we're not raping and pillaging each other's land. Do you know what I mean? And actually, your birth certificate was your receipt for your acre of land, your rice seeds, and I think that the stuff for your home. And that's what your birth certificate was. It was the original receipt was actually your land registry number. So actually, a lot of conspiracy theories, people get this stuff wrong because people just want to see from their own perspective and not where the person was coming from when they created it. Because the pirates used it as well. So name, rank and number. And on that note, that's something that I want to see everybody's crack book changing over to their case numbers. But that's all going to be in July. If you want to crack on with that now, run with it. But I'm holding off. July is going to be one of the biggest awarenesses that we've had for the whole adoption drive and forced adoption, I suppose. And I'm really, really hoping that every single one of them is going to do this. I'm going to go. I'm going to go because I'm probably boring the fuck out of you. It's helping me get to sleep tonight because it's helping me get stuff off my head. And try it yourself, even if you don't want to go live, even if you don't want people to see you, which actually is a bit different from doing normal videos because this is going out there and that's it. It's out there. When you video on yourself, obviously nobody can do anything with that. It's only you that knows about it. So try it. Just literally just say, hi, I'm so-and-so and I'm live on Crackbook. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I'm not a narcissist. I'm not looking at myself or anything. It is just literally, I have a message and I need to get it out. And this is my message. And just keep going until eventually you go, oh, that felt good. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I got all that out. That's absolutely brilliant. And then between a lot of us, we'll all share them out and we'll get our stories. And I've still got a lot of you that I've got to put in the FAA books. So anyway, guys, I'm going to check out because I've started to get a bit of a freestone headache, which means that my spirit is trying to tell me that it's time to fuck off. So I shall love you and leave you and catch you later. And I will probably either be here in the morning. If this is charged up, no. Unlock iPhone to use accessory. Fuck. My charge is down again. As you know, it keeps happening. I even actually have a proper iPhone one this time. It was given to me. It's now gone kaput too. So no, I am not going to be waking up with battery on my phone tomorrow unless I can find another charger in this house and see if it works. But unfortunately, we are struggling with chargers in this house. I don't know what is going on, but my chargers are just not charging up at all. No, it's 10% battery on there. So anyway, guys, I might not be there tomorrow. I do believe that I'm meant to be somewhere tomorrow. I'm sure I'm meant to be at Family Festival tomorrow in Havant or something, and I've got some big MP there and everything. but I can't remember, and I really am too tired to look right now. So I shall catch you later. Be good. And if you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, and I'll see you later.